Okay, so in order for us to move fast, I have logged in and let me see. I'll leave it at one. Uh-huh. So I've logged in. You can see the panels I have here. Being a super
Yes.
user, we have the accounting module with accounts payable, accounts receivable. The financial reports are here. If you click on it, you see more. When you just click on accounting module, you normally see a little introduction with all the places you can go, all the links in the accounting module. If you want to do a journal entry, payments entry, your charts of accounts ideally should be set up already by your accountant so that you have all these things in there. I mean, most of these are technical terms in accounting. Your accountant would know about it, or anybody
Sure.
with an accounting background. So the charts of accounts, you can see your various reports like your what do you call it, the balance sheets and the other ones that the accountants do anyway. Most of the time, you go through and then you see all they can do their trial balance and all that here. Anyway, so your cash flow statement is also there. Your profit and loss statement and all that are in there for you. That's in the accounts module. I'm not going to spend too much time on the accounting because we are just coming to look at how to use the software.
Yeah.
For those in records and most of the time you have somebody at the reception who may also double up as a cashier. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to the record section. Once you hit your section, you that's your panel here, and then this is your workspace. So your workspace, any link or any place you will be clicking, you have your workspace and those links will be there. As and when we customize the software for you, we may add a few other links. But right now, we have a place to register new patients. So we'll just register a new patient and then use that patient for the process. So we have first name. I'm just going to use test patient, which is the name I'm using for this patient. So test patient will be the patient on your system for any testing we are going to be doing. The date of birth, we just select any date here. So I'm going as far back as 2020 or okay, 2010. Let me select this month and then this day. So that's the patient's date of birth, and it actually auto calculates the date of birth. That's fine. A few patients' details if you have to write those things down. Most patients are already active. We put in the phone number. So okay, so this is a dummy phone number I've put in here. And then if you have the email, fine, you can put in the email. And the system can be set up to send emails like if the labs are done and you want to forward the email to the patient. So once you have the email, the lab guy can just do that. Medical history, nothing much to put here. It's just the general things. So I'll save this and then you can continue. So the patient is now active on the system. We've just finished setting up the patient's name. You remember this button, the home button is this E button here. So once you are done, you always come back to your home button. It brings you to your panel. I'm logged in as super user. That's why I'm brought to the accounting module, but my links are still here. So we are still on the records and reception. We've registered the patient. If we want to see the list of patients, we can see them. Maybe we just want to make some edits on somebody's phone number or something. We can use the list of patients. We'll book a consultation for the patient. So we'll select that. Once you select that, you see this notice. It's trying to find the patient, but you just take it out. So now we have our patient here and we are identifying the patient. So you can have several patients, but obviously with their phone numbers, they'll be different. Patients with the same name, but you see the phone number, you can differentiate between them. I'm assuming this patient is paying with cash or national insurance or corporate insurance, whichever one. You are leaving it as cash. And then here, you can see there's first inline here, just like the way we had the SuperMed. So you select the consultations. So your consultations, let's say, I don't know whether there is general consultation. Yesterday, I just uploaded your okay, so we have general consultation here, and the price is 120. It loads the price in. You can add others if somebody is seeing that and maybe doing a gynae consultation in other whichever ones you have in your list, you add them. You see, I've opened 2 rows now. Since I've opened 2 rows, once I save, it will tell me this second row. I have to delete it, so I'll delete it because it's not part of the. I didn't put anything there, so I'm going to save again. And once I save, it normally will give you the notification that it's saved. Then you know it's saved. So I've saved this consultation. Somebody's audio is on. Hold on, I'll just take that person out. Okay, I think the person has put it off. Okay, so let's go back to where we were. So we've just booked a consultation for the patient. So obviously, depending on how we've set it up, if it's insurance or they have to pay for the consultation before they go to the next stage, they will go. So I'm going to the cashier's panel, assuming we finished booking. Oh, once we finish booking, they will go and pay at the cashier's panel. So we go back to our main home. Under the cashier's panel, they have the bill payments and then the grand total bills if somebody wants to know their full bill. But under bill payments, you have the search the date filters now. So we can select if somebody said they came like 2 days ago or so and they are now coming to pay their bill, fine. You just put in that date. So it's the starting date and the ending date. If it's a particular date you want, you can put the same date on both places. So today, for instance, 26. We have 20 from 26 to 26, which means it's today, exactly today that we are looking for. Today we have 1 patient, test patient. So I'm clicking on the name of the patient. And this is the patient's bill summary. So I can see the name, the patient is cash, and the bill summary. Here we have consultation. This is running as an accounting system. So once you generate a bill, it creates a sales invoice for the patient. So that's the sales invoice number here. So in case we are tracking to find out which bill was generated for somebody, we can use the sales invoice number at the accounting side. They can get all that information. General consultation is what we are billing the patient for, and that's the price. It's 120 and it states as unpaid. So I can click on this to pay. It will ask me to confirm. Remember, once you confirm and you submit a payment, you cannot reverse it unless administration or accounting people do a reversal, because they have to reverse the payment invoice and the sales invoice that's associated with that this thing. So it will ask you, are you sure? Okay, yes. Once you click on yes, it's going to generate the receipt. I forgot. Mr. Courage, you may have to send me your letterhead so that I'll use it to create your receipt, and then it will be nicer than this. Okay, so then you can print it out. We finished with that. So you can see that now the bill is paid. So we are still maintaining the same SuperMed style where they can pay for different departments. We don't combine the payments all together. The reason being, we've had issues with several other hospitals where somebody is ready to pay for only lab and they go to the cashier. They did not tell the cashier that they are just paying for labs, and the cashier decides to pay everything because obviously every cashier is in a hurry. So they paid everything. Now the patient says they don't have money to go home or they want some refund, and there's a lot of back and forth. So at the department you are in where you want to pay, you pay for only that and you move on. Okay, well, this has been discussed already, even in the old SuperMed. So you know that flow already. So we've paid for this. Now, obviously, after paying, let's say the nurses will enter the vitals and the rest. So I'm going to the nurses, and under the nurses section, they have enter vitals for consultation. They can do their nurses notes and the rest. And then in case somebody comes in for walk-ins, they are not necessarily seeing the doctor or anything. The nurses can do the walk-in requests here. Okay, so under enter vitals for consultation, obviously they will also see those who have come today, the list. And if it's a walk-in, you will know the type of consultation being walk-in. So, but this one is a general consultation. Once we click on this, I hope you can hear me. I hope I'm still audible.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Oh, okay. So let me go on then. So we just clicked on enter vitals for consultation. That's where we were. And then we came to the list of patients. We've just clicked here. So we are with the nurses now. Let me see. Okay. So with the nurses, that's the patient. You can enter the weight, the height. It will calculate the BMI directly for you. So let's say weight of 100, a height of, it's in meters. So let's say 1.7 meters. And then it does the BMI for you. So it will go ahead and do the BMI. As a nurse, your job mainly is just to enter the vitals. We allow you to enter some nurses' notes even at the OPD, just in case the patient said something you want to tell the doctor. Some hospitals also, maybe the patient has a few complaints. You just want to note them down before the patient goes to the doctors, and you can put it here for them. Depends on your hospital setting anyway. So here, your vitals are here. You can add a row. Most of the time, we add a row before we enter anything. So now you have your row where we can enter temperature, a pulse, a systolic BP, diastolic BP, respiratory rate, and then SpO2. So you can see here, I couldn't click to enter because the way the system is set up, it depends on your role. If you are not a nurse or you don't have nurse role, you may not be able to edit anything in that area. I'm logged in as admin. I'm not logged in as a nurse. So I'm struggling to enter. There are certain places we allow people to just enter a few. So maybe I can enter the BP 120/80 and then we'll go on with that. So maybe nurses can still enter some nurses notes here. The diagnosis, nurses cannot enter, but they can see so that they know what the patient is being treated for. Prescriptions, they can also view the prescriptions. The lab requests that have been requested by the doctor will also be here. Procedure, x-rays, and scans. Basically similar to the SuperMed, right? Okay. So we'll save that. So we've now entered a patient's vitals. They are going to see the doctor now. Once we've finished with that, they will go and see the doctor. So here's the doctor's panel. Under the doctor's panel, I haven't added the ward rounds. I'll add ward rounds here for the doctors as well, so that they can just go into ward rounds. It's in the system. I didn't just activate it for my account here. That's all. So here we have current consultations. So you see the consultations here. If somebody came like 3 days ago and the person has come back and you want to check something, well, you can use the date to filter and go back and forth. But most of the time, it will use the current date. So that's it here. So this is the doctor's panel, similar to what we just saw at the nurses end. The doctor will see all the BMI and everything that was written. The doctor can type in their history here. Earlier on, we had some hospitals, especially with some of the old specialists, they wanted a feature where they don't want to type anything. They just want to select. So we give them this. So you can either use this, or even combine. Here in your setup, I haven't entered any list of complaints, but right now you can just enter them. Let me just enter one. So somebody comes with headache. I'm just entering this. Then let me just do another one. Fever. So I had some specialists in some hospital somewhere that refuse to type. So they just want to select maybe headache, fever, and then they go their way. That's all. So they would have to enter first all the symptoms that they usually use so that anytime they can, they just select those and go away. So that's all. So that's it for that. And the doctor can obviously they will see the vital signs that the nurses sent. If there were any nurses notes that the nurses wrote at the OPD, that's fine. Doctor can send in their diagnosis. I don't know whether I've loaded your diagnosis yet. I haven't, so I need to do that. Let me write it down. I normally upload the ICD-10 diagnosis, and then um, you can add up if you want to. Most of the time, we leave the diagnosis to be added by your insurance claims officer, so that it matches with the NHIS diagnosis and their diagnosis codes. Okay, so I haven't added in diagnosis here. Prescriptions, I think I loaded your drug list, so I can add maybe, let's see, so this from your drug list. So let's say vitamin C syrup, I want 5 mils daily for maybe 2 weeks, so 14 days. And then the route, obviously oral. So that's it. I am not supposed to, as I'm logged in as a super user, that's why I'm seeing the quantity here. If you're a doctor, you will not be able to enter the quantity, just like we had in SuperMed. So then the quantity will be entered at the pharmacy. So we've just prescribed one. I'm going to enter quantity so that we can get a bill for the patient. So I'm just going to enter. Okay, yeah, we are not tracking stock now. So I'll enter one for that. That's for prescriptions. Then under the lab section, this where we can select maybe FBC, and then it will show the price. And then you can add a comment. Maybe you just want to tell the lab people something that you want to be done here. And then let's just do malaria and go away. MPs. Okay, you don't have MPs this way. Maybe you have it as. Okay, so you have malaria, parasites, and this. So I've selected that. So these are the things you sent to me anyway. So I have that's your price list you sent to me. Then under procedure, I'll just do one procedure. I don't know whether there's suturing or something. So I don't have suturing here. Maybe we'll add procedures as time goes on. Okay. Then X-rays and scans can also be requested. So everything is being requested by the doctor here. Abdominal ultrasound scan, and that's the price. You can't edit the price. You just select and see the price, just so that you can discuss with the patient. Okay, so everything is done here at the doctor's end. We've requested some prescriptions, labs, X-rays, and stuff. We've written some small history using just the select. Or if I wanted, I could type a lot of things here, like patient came for review. I'll just use that for now with the above complaints. So obviously we can see these two complaints here. So we've saved. So that's basically what the doctor has done here. And so he also has his panel. You can always go back to the home page with the E here. And now let's go back to the cashier and receive some of these payments so that we can just go to the lab and see what's going on in the lab. So under the cashier side, patient has come back to the cashier. We still have the same patient. So you can see patient has full blood count, BF for malaria, which is our total is 120 here. Then we have another invoice for pharmacy based on what was requested. There's another invoice for radiology, that's the abdominal scan that was requested. But the consultation is already paid. So the total outstanding is what is here. So, well, we would still receive them in this way. This time you are not entering any amount. You just click and the system will log everything in. So we'll just pay if we want to. And let's see. Let me just receive all quickly. Okay, I'm not printing, so I'm just canceling them out. Okay, which other one is left? The pharmacy bill. So obviously they would have gone to the pharmacy for the pharmacist to enter the quantity and everything before coming. Okay, so the flow is the same. Let's say they go to the pharmacy. Let's just look at pharmacy before we go to the lab. So if they go to the pharmacy to, it says dispense drugs, this is where the pharmacist will see the name. Once you click on the name, you have the flow where you are going to enter just the quantity, and that's it. Unfortunately, I'm logged in as administrator. I don't have a pharmacy access, so it's just pulling me back to the same page where I was. We'll look at that later. Okay. But it's the same thing. The pharmacist will just see this page, see the diagnosis and the prescription, and then the pharmacist will be able to just enter the quantity. So if there are 10 or so prescriptions, the pharmacist will just enter the quantities because there will be more prescriptions as the doctor prescribes. If the doctor enters empty lines like this, the system would require him to enter something. So if not, then you just delete them. Okay. So I'm not going to save this. I was just showing an example here. Now at the lab, if we go to the lab now, they have the link to view requests. They have the sample taken. They can print lab reports, list of lab tests. Here we have over 70 lab tests that Mr. Courage sent to me. I've uploaded on the system, and then they can verify the lab. So if we come to view lab requests, sometimes when you get here, based on what you did previously, there's a filter. We will just cancel the filter because somebody was searching for something earlier. So once I cancel the filter, I have the list. And this is where this time around you have the patient's name, and these are your lab report entry forms. So these are the forms you are going to enter the lab. So if the patient was, if like 5 different lab tests were requested and the patient has paid for all of them, then this system will generate 5 different templates. The template for FBC will be different from the template for MPs, which will be different from template for WIDAL and the rest. You know that already. So you see the templates here. The advantage of this software compared to SuperMed is that our templates now are configurable by the lab technicians themselves. So any lab at all, we got tired of, you realize that if we are using the SuperMed, we had a limited number of templates, and that was all. And people kept calling us, we have a new lab test and we want a new template, and the coding is difficult. So it's like every time there's a new lab test somewhere, we don't have the template. Now we have to code it and come and update your system with that one. And then another time, there's another lab test that we don't have on our system on the SuperMed. Then we have to, so it's a repeated process, a repeated manual process of up and down, up and down. Right now, we have changed it. So right now, the lab technician, if I go to this lab, let's say this particular lab test. Okay, let me click here and go in. This is full blood count. I'm supposed to see the parameters like HB, FBC, HB, WBC, platelets, and the rest to enter my values. What we did is, you as the lab technician, let me just spend time on that so that we'll go back. And let's get back to this under your lab testing. If you look at the lab tests here, let's take FBC. So I'm going to look for the lab test name FBC. It should show. Once I type it in the test name part, I'm seeing it here. If I look under FBC here, this is just the FBC, the lab name. and it has what we call a result format. I'm going to click on it here. Under result format, I'll use this opportunity to just explain the different result formats. We have just about three important ones. We have the single result format, we have the compound result format, and then a grouped results format. Let me spend time on this a bit for the lab guys. I hope our lab guy is here. Anyway, if not, you have to watch the recording. So if I select compound lab, for instance, FBC is a compound lab. That's why I'm selecting compound lab. I'll explain what it does. Once I select compound lab, now I have to select the different parameters for FBC. So I'm going to add a few rows here. So here, let's say this is HB. HB, the unit of measurement, we want grams per deciliter, right? If I don't have it, I'll add it. Let me see. Did I have it? It means that I didn't have it in. I didn't add that to our. So I'm just going to add it right now, grams per deciliter. So now I have it. And then you enter your own normal range based on your lab machines. You know, sometimes different lab machines have different normal ranges. So you enter it here. You are doing this configuration once. After that, it will reflect in every lab that you do. So let's say our HB here should be, let's say 10 to, let's say 17. Okay, well, let's do 12 to 17 for a normal one. And then WBC. So WBC, okay, I want to make the HB caps as well. WBC, maybe we have a something times 10 raised to the power something. Let's just select for the sake of time, let me just select this for now. And then maybe platelets too. So we'll have to enter our lab units of measurements in the system. So I have some already. I'll just enter them for you. I'm writing it down so that I can remember. So I'll just select this for now, which is wrong anyway, but we use that. Then we put in our normal ranges. I'll just put some dummy values here. We can change them later. Okay, so that's it. So I've just entered 3. You can see I entered HB before WBC, before platelets. It will be in this order. So whilst we configure this, the way you want the labs to be printed at your facility, you arrange it the way you want it, and it will follow that order. We in the old SuperMed, we had some laboratories and some hospitals complaining that they have their own format. The doctors want to see HB first, the doctors want to see WBC first. This, and every time we have to go back and design the template for this hospital, for that hospital. It's a lot of work, especially for our team. So right now, you get the opportunity to arrange the parameters the way you want it, and then you save it. So I've just used this opportunity to explain what a compound lab is. A compound lab test is a test that has different components. So just like this, it's a compound lab test. Let's compare this to malaria RDT. RDT is not compound, it's just positive or negative, just one parameter. So RDT is considered a single result lab test. And then, okay, let me save this. So the third one we will look at is what we will call the grouped. So the grouped, this thing, I think Dr. Kelvin asked for it some time back. When we say we want a grouped lab test, you want to put, you are not giving a name to it. For instance, let me come back to here. So I can create a new lab test, like maybe medical screening. Maybe you have a package like medical screening basic. Let's say medical screening basic. Or no, let's just use ANC labs. ANC labs. So ANC labs is a name of a lab test, and we know ANC lab consists of so many things: the urinary, the FBC, the so many lab tests you are going to do. So we are going to say, let me just choose hematology for this, and let's go. Or yeah, let me just choose this for this. So we are doing all this. So this is a group lab test. That means that we are combining different lab tests together to make one particular package, and then we give it a price. So once we give it a price like that, if the doctor selects that, let's say A and C labs, he just selects one A and C labs. All the selected A and C labs that we know of will be sent to the lab for them to just do it. So you can have like A and C labs, you can have like hypertension labs, like the general lab test we run for a hypertensive patients. If you are doing some promotion at your hospital and you want a particular selection of lab tests, and then you put a price, maybe for this package is 800 Ghana cedis. It consists of so and so and so and so labs. You configure it on the system. Then once you select that lab, the particular labs under that group will be sent to the laboratory. So this is a laboratory thing. I'm just doing the A and C, so we'll just go there and see. So then we put in the price. So maybe A and C labs, let's put in 200. Once I finish, I think Mr. Courage can edit the price for this one. So we are done with the A and C lab. I've just saved it. Now we are still under A and C labs, right? We have to do the result format. Result format here, I'm going to select grouped because a grouped lab test, what it means is that I'm going to now be able to select like FBC is one of them, one of the labs here in that group. I'm going to select maybe malaria. What did we have here? Malaria. Let me go back. It says add test. Let me see what I should have added here. Yeah, I should be able to add. Which other lab test do we have? So this is a single. It's showing me others, but if I had added others, I would be able to select them. So I can select FBC on this line, malaria parasite on the next line, liver test on the other line, and have so many other labs, and all will be under this grouped test. So once I send it to the lab, the system knows that it should add FBC, should add malaria test, should add this and that and that and that to our labs, and that's for that group. So you can have a package for that. Okay, so I've just used this to explain that. That's under the lab. So right now, my lab technicians have the ability to configure the lab reports the way they want it and everything. Then what else is there for us to do? Under administration, I'll spend a little bit of time under administration. Yesterday, I saw the list that Mr. Courage sent to me, your administrator. Some of the lists had some errors, but I fixed them before uploading them. Our system runs on certain specific categories. We have medications, laboratory, consultation types, procedure, radiology is what we use for scans and x-rays and everything. So if we are uploading or you are editing any form, any prices, remember there are about 6 different categories. That's all. And that's what we are using. I saw Mr. Curry sent me the price list and he was using ultrasound as a category for prices. Ultrasound. Our system will not take ultrasound. There's what we use is radiology. So all ultrasound scans, X-rays, everything are still under radiology. So when he sent me the list, I tried uploading it. I had errors because the system could not recognize ultrasound as a category. So I had to spend time on it. That also delayed that a bit. Okay, so Mr. Courage, you have ability to edit prices here. So if you go here, or let's say lab test, you see the lab test, you can edit whatever price you want to edit from the lab test here. Not everybody has the authority to do that. It will not give you the chance if you don't have authority to do that. So these are your price lists here. Your users can also be added here. You can disable users, you can activate users, accounts and all that. Unfortunately, you can't delete a user account because a user might have entered some information and the user's name is always attached to whatever they do on the system. So this is where you can do stuff like that. In case somebody has lost their password, I'll use this opportunity to show you. You can't see the password, but you can just change it. So once you come in here, these are their roles. You can select which roles they have. The system is built for so many other things, not just for hospitals. So you can have a stock manager, suppliers, everything in the system like that. Here under settings, you can select the password here and change the person's password if the person has forgotten their password. Okay, so this for administration. I'm just using this to show administration where to go and change passwords if somebody has lost their password. Okay, then still under administration, I think we just look at the last part of it. They can see the hospital sales summary here. So based on the date, this running from 1st of May till today, it will tell you how many sales invoices have been generated, which particular sales. So if you are looking for a particular sales invoice, you can just key in the number here, you find it. The sales invoice the number will also be printed on the receipt. It will tell you the owner here refers to who collected the money. Today I have collected the money. So since I registered myself as administrator, that's it. The patient that we collected the monies from, and then the department. So you can even just come to lab and see how much has been generated for a particular day by just filtering for labs. Similarly, let me go back to your panel again. You also have the sales analytics. So under sales analytics too, it will start, ideally it gives you some graphs and stuff like that, how much you have collected today. You can see, so today I've collected 471 Ghana cedis based on what we've just done, which obviously is under test patient. So you know it's not money that I have to account for. We just use it as a test. Okay, but you can select all these, select the date, the month and everything, even the cashier, so that you know who collected what at what time. And all these are done by the system automatically at the accounting section. So your accountant just goes into the account section. They can now do all the financial reports that they need. If you want to go into your general ledger, you can go in, you can look at your trial balance, your cash flow report, your balance sheet, profit and loss statements, all that are here. So this is one of the reasons we decided to use this software now, because it solves a lot of problems, and it's more modern than the other one, and it allows us with a lot of features now. It allows us to work faster. So if there's any issue to fix, something that will take me like 2 weeks with the old SuperMed to fix, if we are using this new SuperMed Ultra, it may just take me about 1 day. So one of the reasons I switched to SuperMed Ultra is the fact that the language on which it is built, the framework on which it is built, is more modern than the other one, and it makes life a bit easier for me, the developer, and also for my clients. So it's a new product we have brought out now, and unfortunately, because of the issues your system had, I just proposed to Dr. Kelvin that since we now have this new product, would he be interested in rather trying this than using the old one? And based on what we have, it seems like he was interested in this. So that's why we have to come back and do all this training. You can see, so this would also help you with your taxation and everything. If the As you do everything, you can even put in, when you are putting your prices, you can add taxes and stuff to it, so that it calculates taxes and everything. If you have to deal with Ghana Revenue Authority or any IRS institution, your taxes and everything are taken care of already. So you can come to accounting and set up your taxes and everything here, and then it goes like that. Okay. Thank you. I think I have spoken at length. I I don't know if anybody has any questions. Then we'll see.
All right, Doc. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Dorothy, Doris, Phoebe, please, any question?
For now, no. So you try also go through, and if it is anything, you will tell him.
All right, that's fine.
Okay, so in that case, I think we can call it a day. I have tried to brush over every aspect of it so that we'll see. But I'm sure once you start working on it, maybe you have a few things to discuss with me, and then we'll see. So if anything, you can let me know if I need to do a video and send you. Fine. I think I forwarded a few videos on YouTube
Yes.
to Mr.
Yes.
Corey. I don't know whether you shared it with them already, but even this particular demo, I'll share it with you in the list, so you can also go over if you have any other issues. Okay. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah.